A parallax effect is a way of creating depth and movement by moving layers of images at different speeds. In web design, it's often connected to scrolling, but in React Native, we can also connect it to the device sensors. Today, we're gonna make this eye-catchy parallax effect using the useAnimatedSensor hook from React Native Reanimated. Let's start by creating a new Expo project that uses with Reanimated starter template. It's a very handy command that comes with Reanimated already set up for you. Let's change the name of the app to something better though. Let's go with, for example, Reanimated Parallax, and run it in a new terminal window. Once that's finished, open up the project with your favorite editor. I'm gonna use VS Code. Let's start the project with npm run start. I'll be testing the project on both iOS and Android. Later on, I'm gonna test on physical devices because we can't really simulate sensors on the computer. Yep, Reanimated is running correctly. We'll be implementing this parallax effect completely from scratch, so let's remove all the code that we have here in app.js and bring back the export default function app. Next, we need those images, and you can get them from a link in the video description. I already have them on my computer, so I'll just move them right here to the assets folder. As you can tell, one of them is a background image, and the other is for foreground. We'll be animating both of them in just a moment. Next, we would like to have that function to return two images, and we need to wrap them with a single view. This outer view is a container that spans the whole screen and centers the items within, and we also have to connect the styles right here. The foreground image has to be positioned absolutely on the screen, and we make it span the whole area with width 100% and height 100% as well. Let's also add some text and style so the users will have some additional points of reference on the screen when everything starts moving. And that's the whole markup we really need. Next, let's get this connected to the sensors. Reanimated comes with 5 built-in sensors, but for our use case, the rotation sensor is the most useful one. Quick check on the documentation, and we can see that it returns 3 important values: pitch, roll, and yaw of the device. This cool playground shows us that pitch is up and down, roll is left to right, and yaw is something like that. And here's how we're gonna use it. First, let's import useAnimatedSensor and the sensor type from React Native Reanimated. As any other React hook, you call it in the component body. To use the rotation sensor, you have to pass the sensor type.rotation as the first argument to the hook. This hook now returns an object which holds a reactive shared value with the readings from the sensor. By default, this sensor reports very frequently, up to 100 times a second. So I'm gonna change it to read the value every 20 milliseconds. Okay, that was pretty simple. We can check whether the sensors work by simply logging its value to the console. The sensor has its values under rotation.sensor.value. Okay, we can see that it returns pitch, roll, and yaw, and some other values as well. Let's simplify the output by destructuring just the values that we need. Yeah, that's better. Okay, but that console logged the value just once, and the sensor should report values every 20 milliseconds. So why can't we see the output? The value returned from the sensor is a shared value, and shared values don't trigger React re-renders. That would be way too costly and way too slow. We need to make Reanimated listen to the changes of a shared value. For example, we can do this by wrapping this console log with a use-derived value. Now, Reanimated listens to the changes of the sensor, and we can see the values change as I move the phone. Great! To create a parallax effect, we need to connect the sensors to images in order to offset them. First, we need to change the image components to use their animated versions from Reanimated, like so. And let's add it to the import. Now, we move our code from useTheRightValue to useAnimatedStyle and import that as well. Let's offset the images with transform, translate X, and translate Y, like so, and pass the returned animated style to styleprop in the animated image component. I'll also multiply the sensor value by 100 and check how it works. Okay, that's a bit excessive, but hey, it works. Let's make it about 50. Yep, better. I also make it negative right here, so it moves to the opposite direction, which is a bit more natural. Okay, now we have one tiny visual glitch. The foreground image reveals the background on the borders, and that doesn't really look good. Let's change the width to 120% and offset it down by 50 pixels. The sensor values are a bit jagged, so let's smoothen them with a very damped spring. You can play around with the spring configuration more if you like, but that's good enough for me. To finish the parallax effect, all we really need to do is to apply the same logic to the foreground and slightly adjust this multiplier. Let's do 25. And there you go. Hi, my name is Kacper, and I hope you learned something useful today. I work at Software Mansion. We are a software agency specializing in React Native and multimedia streaming. Leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, tell us in the comments what you didn't like, and see you next time. Bye!